While there are a lot of cruise lines out there, when it comes to the United States, two main players come to mind, Carnival and Royal Caribbean. While both lines do have a lot of similarities, there are also some major differences. To be sure, you're bound to have fun on either company's ships. However, if you want the real scoop on how they differ, I've laid out some of the major differences coming up. Want to sail affordably? Both Royal Caribbean and Carnival offer affordable vacations. If you want to sail the more inexpensive cruise line, however, then you're better off with Carnival. Now, I recently analyzed dozens of cruises from both cruise lines departing from 3 of their most popular ports. Carnival and Royal Caribbean both sail from Miami, Port Canaveral, and Galveston, which gives an ability to compare prices across the lines with similar trips. When looking at the fares for each sailing in July of 2022 as an example, which is the peak of cruise season in North America, Carnival's fares are less expensive on average. According to my analysis, cruise fare for a 7-night trip aboard Carnival was about $200 cheaper per person during the search than what was seen on Royal Caribbean. That lower pricing it also held for 3, 4, and 5-night cruises. Now keep in mind that this doesn't mean your cruise will automatically be less expensive on Carnival or more expensive on Royal Caribbean. What you pay for a cruise depends on a lot of factors, including when you sail, the specific ship you choose, and the route you take. But in general, you can figure that a Carnival cruise will run less than a similar one on Royal Caribbean. While both cruise lines have ships ranging from older, smaller vessels to brand new megaships, Royal Caribbean and Carnival's vessels definitely differ. Royal Caribbean, they're well known for having the largest cruise ships in the world, and while Carnival ships can be of comparable length, the size of Royal Caribbean's biggest ships is noticeably larger. Consider that Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas is nearly 1,200 feet long and carries more than 5,500 passengers. Carnival Horizon is a full 120 feet shorter and carries about 4,000 passengers. When it comes to size, Royal Caribbean ships definitely have an edge. Now, Carnival has closed the gap somewhat with its newest ship, Mardi Gras, but in general, Royal Caribbean ships do tend to be larger. Of course, with larger ships, you can pack on a lot more onto the vessel. While both cruise lines take advantage of all the space on their ship, you'll see that there are major differences in activities and entertainment between the two cruise lines, due partly to the ship's size. You might not realize it, but the vast majority of your time on a cruise is actually spent on the ship. Even on days in port, the ship is normally docked only for about 8 hours. That means the activities and entertainment on the ship are important to the fun you'll have on your cruise. Good news, both cruise lines, Carnival and Royal Caribbean, offer constant entertainment. In fact, you'll likely find the entertainment like the evening shows or the comedians, and even the onboard contests and the casino gaming, they're all very similar between the two cruise lines. But when it comes to activities on board, I think Royal Caribbean and Carnival are very different. Royal Caribbean, they definitely seem more innovative with the things to do on the ship. Newer vessels include the world's tallest slide at sea, bumper cars, ice skating, a surf simulator, and even an observation pod that can take you up and out over the water on some ships. Carnival offers plenty of fun things to do as well, but it's typically more of the classic things to do on a cruise ship, like mini golf or movies, the pool, and jogging tracks. Royal Caribbean, they also have these. That said, Carnival is moving in the direction of Royal Caribbean. For instance, the new Carnival Mardi Gras, it has the first ever roller coaster at sea, and the cruise line is the only one to have an IMAX on some of its ships. While the entertainment on board may be similar in most cases, the activities on Royal Caribbean are more innovative in my opinion. One of the biggest benefits to the growth of the cruise industry, as cruise lines grow their fleet, they are able to add more cruises, including sailing from smaller ports. Are you near a major cruise port like Miami or Galveston? The good news is you have your choice of either cruise line. You'll find both lines in any port with heavy cruise traffic. If you are close to a smaller cruise port, however, like Mobile or Jacksonville or Charleston, South Carolina, then you'll be glad to know you can still sail aboard Carnival. Royal Caribbean is catching up in this regard, sailing from spots like Baltimore and New Orleans. But what's so nice about sailing from these smaller ports like Carnival does is that it means so many more people can cruise without the added expense of a flight. The added cost of plane tickets on top of a cruise, that can be pretty burdensome for some people who would otherwise not set sail. Bottom line, Carnival offers up trips from a number of smaller ports. Yes, trips from smaller ports are usually aboard smaller and older ships, but I'm of the opinion that any cruise is better than no cruise. On a cruise, alcoholic drinks are big business. It's not unusual to pay $6 or $8 for a beer or $10 to $12 for a cocktail. At those prices, the bar tab can quickly add up. To help passengers budget, cruise lines have drink packages. Packages, they allow you to pay one set daily price, and then you can get what you want without worrying about the bill at the end of the trip. There are differences, however, between Carnival and Royal Caribbean when it comes to these drink packages. First, Carnival's Cheers package is less expensive than what you'll usually find on Royal Caribbean. Carnival charges around $55 per person per day, while Royal Caribbean, they use something that's called dynamic pricing, where the price depends on your specific cruise. According to its website, the price varies from $63 to $89 per day. As well, Carnival has a 15-drink limit over a 24-hour period for alcoholic beverages, while Royal Caribbean, they make no mention of any sort of limit in the fine print of their package. While it's hard to explain, Carnival and Royal Caribbean just have a different feel to most passengers. It's purely anecdotal, but you'll hear many say that Carnival has more of a laid-back party atmosphere. Want to have a pina colada and dance in the conga line around the pool? Let's just say there's a good reason that Carnival is known as the fun ships. In my own personal experience, folks on both cruise lines love to have a great time, but in general, they just seem more outgoing on Carnival. To me, Royal Caribbean has more of a luxury feel. That's not to say it's stuffy, far from it. However, it does feel more subdued than Carnival. There's still plenty of chances to party, but there's simply a slightly different feel to me when sailing Royal Caribbean. Either way, you're gonna have plenty of fun, but the bottom line is that both ships have a fun atmosphere and are similar, but the vibe on Carnival is a bit more outgoing than what I found on Royal Caribbean. In fitting with the ship's atmosphere, the ship DECOR is also a difference between Carnival and Royal Caribbean. To us, Carnival's decor around the ship is often brighter and bolder, with more colors and more festive. Royal Caribbean, on the other hand, they seem to focus a little bit more on elegance and style. Sure, there's still plenty of bright chrome and colored lights, however, there are much more subdued colors and a lot more rich wood around the ship. If Carnival's style is akin to something like Miami, then Royal Caribbean feels more like a luxury New York hotel. One thing I have noticed is that newer Carnival ships and Royal Caribbean ships are more similar with a modern feel, but you can find differences between the older ships especially. In general, about 25 to 30% of a cruise line's revenue, it comes from what passengers spend once they are on the ship. That means even once you actually pay for your cruise fare, then you can plan on spending even more on your vacation. The money you'll spend, that includes everything from specialty restaurants to gambling to souvenirs and even drinks and much more. The good news is that this spending is optional. If you don't want to spend anything on the ship, you don't have to. There's also a difference between Royal Caribbean and Carnival when it comes to how much the average person spends on board the vessel. Now, I've run the numbers based on financial reports from the parent companies of the cruise lines, and the average passenger spends about $52 per person per day on Carnival Corporation ships, which includes Carnival, and on Royal Caribbean group lines, which includes Royal Caribbean, that figure is $64 per person per day, or about 23% more. While $12 per person per day may not sound like much, a couple taking a week-long cruise would end up spending about $170 more on Royal Caribbean group cruises compared to Carnival Corporation, based on these average figures. Are you a Royal Caribbean fan but also love to travel the world? In that case, you are in luck. The cruise line has trips sailing everywhere from the United States to Asia to Europe. While most trips are from the US, there are a number of other options if you're a fan of the cruise line but want to experience somewhere new. In comparison, Carnival, They're more focused on the United States with their sailings. Outside of a handful of trips in Europe, there isn't much available that isn't based in the US. The one exception is Australia. Carnival does offer a variety of trips from Brisbane and Sydney for Carnival fans in the Southern Hemisphere. For years, cruise lines have had private islands. These islands have largely been the same, with both offering some restaurants or shops, but the big draw being white sand beaches with beautiful water. Now, these spots offer snorkeling, beach activities, kayaking, and a ton of other things to do. In my opinion, private islands are among the best stops because they offer stunning surroundings, all catering directly to cruise passengers. You can't go wrong with the private islands on either line. What's changed is the recent renovation of Coco Cay by Royal Caribbean. The cruise line spent a staggering $250 million to completely transform the place from a sleepy tropical island to a full-blown destination. Today, Coco Cay features a full water park, including one of the tallest water slides in the world, a massive freshwater pool, restaurants, and a ton more. For now, Royal Caribbean is the clear winner in private islands when it comes to having a lot to do and being a must-see destination. That said, if you prefer something more laid back, then there's nothing wrong with Carnival's private islands. You'll find either line has something to offer, but in my opinion, Coco Cay takes the cake. If you are a budgeter, then one of the frustrating things you might encounter is dynamic pricing. With this type of pricing, there isn't a set cost for something like a specialty restaurant or a drink package on a cruise. Instead, the price will vary based on the specific cruise you take. So you could sail one cruise and see one price, but a completely different price the next time you set sail. Royal Caribbean, they have dynamic pricing for many things. For instance, the cruise line says its onboard pricing of drink packages is the previously mentioned $63 to $89 per day. Admission to the water park on Coco Cay has also been higher or lower depending on the individual cruise. Now, not having a set price can make it tougher to budget before you buy your cruise, as you won't know the price of some items on the ship until you are fully booked. Carnival, on the other hand, has more traditional pricing that doesn't change from trip to trip. Now, this is at least right now. So even if you haven't booked, you'll have a good idea of how much things will cost on the ship based on previous cruises. Now, what is a cruise without food? This is one area that the cruise lines differ a little bit. Overall, I've found the food quality to be similar between Carnival and Royal Caribbean. You won't go hungry, and both offer a lot of really good options. Where the difference lies is your free versus paid choices. In my opinion, Carnival has better free options. One of the most popular places on the ship is Guy's Burger Joint, which has a great fresh grilled burger with seasoned french fries. You want to eat there? It's completely free. As well, there's also Blue Iguana Cantina, Pizzeria del Capitano, and a few other places where you can grab a bite without any additional charge. And even some spots that charge for dinner have free lunch options. Royal Caribbean definitely has the free places to eat, and in fact, the larger ships tend to have more free options, but the line seems to focus more on specialty restaurants that charge extra. While both lines will not leave you hungry, I think it's Carnival that offers better free options that are already included in your fare. So what does all this mean? Is one line better than the other? Like most preferences, the decision of which cruise line to sail and which is better is subjective. Many people are steadfast fans of one line over another and won't hear anything else. Having sailed both lines multiple times, I think they offer an experience that's about 80% the same. It's that other 20% that may sway you one way or the other. If you like big ships with lots to do, Royal Caribbean may be the cruise line for you. If you like more free dining options and a more festive atmosphere, you'll enjoy Carnival. If you have two cruises, one from each cruise line that you are choosing between, then that's a good problem to have. To help you decide, I'd suggest taking into account a few other items like the ship. I think newer ships are better, the cost, and the ports of call. The good news is that you'll have fun on either line.